Namaste to all. On behalf of Ranjani Memorial Trust, I extend you a very warm welcome to another serial that's on botanical aspects. I'm a botanist. I have studied botany since my childhood. I am exposed to so many plants in our Areca garden, and I studied MSc in Mysore between 1973 and 1975. It was an experience to be with plants and teachers who taught us plants. Especially, I remember the great virtuoso teacher, Dr. D.A. Govindappa, who inculcated interest in botany in us. I owe much of my knowledge to Dr. K. Gopalakrishna Bhatt, who is my mentor, my colleague, my guru, my best senior friend, with whom I have gone through many of the Western Ghats for plant collections. He has enriched my knowledge and interest in botany. So, remembering such gurus and great teachers, and also one of my best friends, my senior colleague, Dr. P.K. Rajagopal, with whom I worked for 25 years for botany in MGM College, Udupi. I invoke the blessings of all my senior teachers and also best wishes from my friends. During the Corona times, I thought of sharing my thoughts about my passion, music. And I have been doing the Facebook programs since July. After the break of Corona, now I thought that why should I not take up my another subject of my profession, which I loved with passion. And how can I share? I have found that many do not know the plants. They know the plants, but they do not know the plants. The newer generation are quite ignorant of the names of the plants, neither in English nor in their local language, never from botany or scientific names, scientific field. Before I forget the names of the plants due to my age, I thought that I would just share whatever that I know about these plants, so that by showing these plants to you, you may remember the figure of the plant or the name of the plant by Sanskrit name or local language or English name or scientific name. What I have taken today is one of the most common climbers which we have in South Canara and Udupi districts. This plant which you have seen, perhaps you will once again see that plant. You just see the plant. This plant is very common along the hedges waste places. This is Cyclea peltata. Just show the single vine, single leaf. You are seeing peltate kind of leaf. Peltate means this having having a stalk and a head like this. So this is called peltate. Hold it like this, straight. Give the leaf. This is peltate, a head and a stalk, and it has a triangular shape, and this is hastate, whatever one word that we use in botany, hastate kind of shape. This is a very thin vine or a climber all along the bushes, in the hedges, in our districts, along the roadsides, waste places, with bunches of flowers. You can see the bunches of these flowers. Yeah, these are the inflorescence, as we call it. Inflorescence means bunch of flowers. This is female inflorescence, and yet another plant will be there which is a male inflorescence. So this is a female plant, and another could be a male plant. So male and female plants are different in this plant. You just see the name of the plant, Cyclea peltata, Lamarck, Hook flora, and Thomas. Now, this is the name of the plant. I know that you find it very difficult to remember the name of this plant, Cyclea peltata. There are so many books available in local languages pertaining to the folk medicine. This is one among the folk medicines, and it is in Kannada called Hadeballi or Pata or Patala. Sometimes Patala becomes Patala. So this is called Patala Beru Gida or Patala Beru Gida. There is a book called Aushadhiya Sasya Sampattu, published by Vivekananda Samshodhana Kendra of Puttur, where P.S. Venkatramana Daitota, a connoisseur and a veteran in administering Ayurvedic drugs with authenticity. This has been published here, compiled and published here by none other than one of my very, very senior teachers, Dr. S. Shankar Bhatt, my friend Dr. Satyanarayana Bhatt, V.V. Bhatt, and Professor Devi Prasad of Vivekananda College, Puttur, and Sri Padre of Adike Patrike, Puttur. A yeoman service has been done in this book, where he has given the name of the plants in different languages. In Kannada, as I told you, Hade Gadde, Hade Balli, Hada Gade, Soppu, Hada Gade Soppu, Gada Gade Soppu, Tippale Balli, Kanmani Soppu, Padavali Balli. Different names. In Tulu, which is the local language here in these two districts, Padovu Balli, Padala Tappu, Patala, Patala, Padala Tappu, Tippale in Konkani. There are certain sects called Karads, race, Karad. They call it Padavale. And Padavale, Wali is the name given by these Kharats. Perhaps this name has come from Maharashtra. In Tamil, it is called Pattai. Pata in Sanskrit, in Kannada, it becomes Pattai in Tamil. In Telugu, Padachettu is the name. In Malayalam, Patakkilangu is the name. In Hindi, it is called Patharvel. In Marathi, Pahad Mool, one which is available along the mountain side. In Sanskrit, it's called Rajapatha. It is Rajapatha. There are certain allied members also. They are called Laghu Patha. Patha or Pata. In botany, we call it only by one name called Cyclea peltata. Now, this plant is used as a folk medicine by making it into a paste. By taking these leaves, add some water and grind it and make it into a paste. It becomes slightly gel-like. And then put it on a cloth, white cloth. Just pour it on that as what you give a pouring of papadam. You will just pour it, a small cup like. It will form a small disc. All the water will just be sifted through the cloth. Now the green paste is available, jet green, dark green paste is available on the cloth. Now take that and keep it on the eyes, on both the eyes. It's so coolant. It's so cooling, and just sleep. Taking 2 types of these small discs, which is available once you prepare it, and you can just show it. So this is the disc which is prepared out of this pata or hadeballi and is kept on the eyes. Now, what for? This is a coolant. It is very, very important for those who are working on computers or mobile. They will have their eyes red. You will go for some drops to your eyes. You need not go for that. You will just use the leaves extracts, slightly gel-like, and keep it on the eyes every week. Those who are working on computers may please do this and get the eyes safe. So this is one of the best methods to overcome heat or some irritations caused to our eyes. My mother used to prepare an oil extract from the root of this plant, which is also available in some books, wherein patala or patala, beru, means root, is used. It is quite going deep into the soil, so you have to be very careful to scoop out the soil and take out the root. Then cut the root. The root is washed and then chopped into pieces. Or you can even just squeeze it by just giving some pressure over. This is now mixed with coconut oil. And say 1 tumbler or 200 ml may need some 100 grams of these roots. either dried or fresh, whatever. If it is fresh, it has to be washed, sun dried for 1 day, and then you can use it after chopping it off and then putting it into this oil. Say about 200 ml or 100 ml, whatever. Then you boil it. Boil it in sim, not on high flame, for about some time. The roots will give out the color, slightly reddish or brownish, and then keep it stored. If you are storing it in a copper vessel, my mother used to say that it is of having a more medicinal property to heal the wounds happening to our skin because of abrasions. When I was a school boy, because of so many mischiefs, I had so many wounds on the legs upon playing or some mischiefs. So these would have made me a wounded soldier. And for that, my mother had only one. A patala berina enne takondu ba, she would say. So I myself will go, and it will be taken from the vessel, a copper vessel, where it is, this oil is there, and that will turn a blackish because of the copper vessel, and that will be applied on the place where these wounds would be there. Within 1 day, you will start seeing the wound getting healed. No insects, no houseflies would visit the wound if there will be this oil applied on the wounds. There are so many researches now at the present moment held on this Cyclea peltata. The roots are said to have tetrandrin, one alkaloid. Tetrandrin is alkaloid which is having an antioxidant activity. It has anti-lithiasis effect, anti-hyperlipidemic effect, reduces LDL and reduces triglycerides and increases HDL. It has anti-diabetic properties, hepatoprotective effects, anti-diuretic activities, that means promotion of passing urine, antibacterial activities, gastric anti-secretory and anti-ulcer activities, anti-ulcer, anti-wound, anti-ulcer, antiseptic activities, anti-inflammatory, anti-arthritic, anti-diarrheal, anti-fertility, anti-hemorrhagic. So many properties have been found out in recent days by these extracts, ethanol extracts of these roots. Suman Singh and Nisteshwar of Jamnagar, who did some research on Dravya Guna of this particular plant, have published in International Journal of Ayurvedic Medicine in 2013 about these properties, and it's a good paper to just review. It is also said to enhance memory. The roots have all these properties. Sunita Nair and Shahul Hamid of Trivandrum in 2018 have also published a very good research paper giving all the pharmaceutical accomplishments of this particular plant. And it is worth going through this particular International Journal of Ayurvedic and Pharma Research, 6th volume, between 70 and 75 pages. This is just a very, very brief account of this particular plant. The leaf of this particular plant is slightly leathery as it becomes old, jet green in color, having one single point and the lines, the veins, nerves running on all directions. And it is netted. When you just hold the leaf against the light, you will find netted kinds of leaves all through. It is so pubescent or uh, hairy, very smooth hairs are present on the surface. And you can also see the hairs as a very smooth hair surface on the edges, and it will be smooth and slightly shiny on the surface. You may also observe that it will be about 10 centimeters long and about 7.5 centimeters broad as a normal. So don't go for a wrong leaf, squeeze it and prepare a gel and apply it on the eyes. So that's why I'm taking some care that you should know some forms structure of this leaf properly. You may see this bunch, you may see these bunches of inflorescences. Though I say that it's a flower, a cluster of flowers, it doesn't have any appeal or attraction. They are bunches called panicles. Male panicle and female panicles are different. And the male panicles will produce the pollens, which will be carried by insects into the female plant, and they will pollinate the female flowers on the female plant. The female flowers, once they get pollinated and later fertilized, they will produce fruits. Within few days, you may see the fruits of this plant. It was not available to me, that's why I have not brought now. Otherwise, you will see the fruits of these plants just like pearls, white fruits in bunches like grapes and just suspending in a form of a cluster. It is said whenever this flowers, the surrounding area will have some fragrance of murku. Murku means chakuli. The chakuli will have some smell, fragrance. And it is said that when this plant flowers, it is believed that there will be a smell or fragrance of this murku or chakuli in the near vicinity. And they will also say that it is because there is some serpent or some pambu or a snake nearby. It's not. It is believed that this flower has that kind of smell. Anyway, please be aware that this plant is a medicinal plant which is available along the hedges. I have purposefully not told why we are using the botanical words, botanical names, instead of the normal common names for our purpose of discussion. Because if I tell that, you may have to search for a little later time to go for the details of Cyclea peltata. Now, if you are not interested, you can just put off my lecture hereafter, which I will be telling you what we are doing in botany to name these plants. Just as we have naming ceremony for we human beings, we have a naming ceremony for plants also. Namakarana is the Sanskrit name. Nomenclature is the English name, Namakarana. So nomenclature is a procedure in botany. Botany means herb. Botany is something about herbs or plants. That's why we get the name botany. So many people write a wrong spelling, Botony. Absolutely wrong. Nonsense. It has no meaning. It comes from the word botane. The Greek word botane means Botane, means a plant, a herb. In botany, we name the plants since 1690s or 80s. Scientists started naming these plants in their own way. Greek and Latin were the language of the scholars. They were naming these plants by their continuous research. There was Cisalpine, so many other who were doing research on this. Carolus Linnaeus of a Swedish scientist, he actually adopted this nomenclature system to the plant and standardized it. What is this nomenclature system means? Whenever we give a name to the plant, we should give a binary name. Binary means, for example, my name is Aravinda Hebbar. Hebbar is my family name. My father, my grandfather, my brothers, all belong to this Hebbar. It is a constant. Aravinda is my name, specific to me. If it is to be told in scientific way, botanical way, Hebbar becomes the genus name. Aravinda becomes specific name, the species name. So Carolus Linnaeus adopted that binary system which was in practice earlier to him, and he standardized it. He started giving the names of plants binarily, the genus epithet and species epithet. Genus is hibiscus, you all know. Aloe, Aloe, is a genus. You all know the name of the aloe. You are not finding it difficult. Aloe is very well known to you. Hibiscus is also known to you. Rosa, rose, is also known to you. They are all genera, plural of genus. Genus, Mangifera, you would have already understood. It is a botanical name for mango. So he gave the genus name, genus epithet first, but it is incomplete. If I am called just Hebbar, only my friends, my circle friends would know who this Hebbar is. If my brothers and father's friends also come to that group, they would say, which Hebbar? Is it Aravinda Hebbar or some other Hebbars? Similarly, hibiscus, which is having rose-like petals, the 5 petals, Dasavala, the 5 petals, Rosa sinensis, rose-like petals. Then it is called Hibiscus rosa sinensis. Mangifera indica, Indian mango. So, second one is the species name is an adjective. The first one is a noun. The second one is an adjective. So, noun and the adjectives are together used. So, Hebbar is the genus and Aravinda is the species. So, if I am to write my name properly, as we would do in botany, my name should be Hebbar Aravinda. So, first name and the second. It's not name. We are not giving two names to a plant. It is epithet, a pratyaya in Kannada. It's a pratyaya or epithet. The first one, the second one. The first one is genus and the second one is the species. So genus and species together would make that name for that particular plant. Cyclea is the genus. Peltata is a peltate-like leaf-bearing plant. Adjective. Peltata is the species name. So naturally, this plant will have Cyclea peltata. Now you have also seen the name of the plant Cyclea peltata with after peltata you have seen LAM dot within brackets. That means it was first described by Lamarck. That's the first scientist who authored this name. He was the first one to describe it and name it. And later Hooker, Thomas, all these described it. The first author has to be remembered because there are so many who would rename just to say that their name is their name has to come along with the name of the plant. So this is not allowed. Cyclea peltata Lamarck is the oldest name available in the form of scripts or book, oldest book, and that will be given as a judgment in a code, International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, ICBN. That is an institution. And since 1905, for every 5 years or 6 years, they will assemble all the taxonomists or botanists of the world will assemble in a particular place in the world. It is called International Botanical Congress or Commission, IBC. So IBC, International Botanical Congress, will assemble or convened at a particular place in one of the places in the world, and there all the plants researched on date will have to be submitted and get approved. It has to be approved. So if anybody before Lamarck would have discovered Cyclea peltata and published his description and naming of that plant earlier to Lamarck, then he has to give evidence and proof to the ICBN authorities. The ICBN, International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, will then give the ruling saying that, okay, this is approved. Okay, this is not approved. Once it is held as a ruling, then that will be taken into consideration. And the very next year or the next year, that will be published in the IBC code paper, book. So this is the procedure which we have in IBC and ICBN. Very recently, in Shanchun, China, we had International Botanical Congress commissioned at Shenzhen, Shenzhen, to be spelled Shanchun, China, in July 2017 as the 19th or 17th or 19th code conference, where all the rules and regulations as on date would be published by Coles, Koelts, Coles Botanical Books. It's available. The code is amended every 6 years and it will be published in this book. So the current code is the 17th edition, as I have just said, July 2017. So this is the procedure which we have internationally to establish the botanical names. Now the question arises, why we should give names in so difficult names in Greek or Latin? The ruling given by ICBN is that the name of the plant must be given in Latin. Why? Why not Sanskrit? We were not there. We were not there. Otherwise, we would have done it. So the scholars of those days, who were either knowing Greek or Latin, should I say Latin and Greek, established the rule that all plant names must be given in Latin. And it was accepted. That's why all these names have come. For example, we have botany. Botane word is Greek. We have all the economics, politics, logic, ecology, physiology, every word that we use in science, they have either Greek or Latin background. You are also using all you are all using all these words without your knowledge. But you say that these botanical names are very difficult. When we enter into a marriage hall, thousands of people will be there. The groom and the bride's party would know who have come and who have not come. How? Did they write that this fellow has not come and this fellow has come? No. They would remember. Thousands would have come, and you would definitely come forward to say that this fellow has not come to my marriage. You would remember. It is very difficult. But to remember a botany name, is it difficult? You are not forgetting that name in the marriage because you are familiar with everybody. That's why a person who is very much familiar with you has not come, you remember it. So do the same thing here also. You would become very familiar with the plant. Then how can you forget it? Cyclea peltata. Beautiful. It's like a play. You just spell it every day. You have so many beautiful names. For as a cynic, I may convert this in Sanskrit. And why should I use only Latin names? I will make it into a Sanskrit name. I did some time back. There is one plant called Calotropis gigantea. There is one plant. It's called Ekka, Madar, as it is called, M-A-D-A-R, Madar. I thought, I'm great. So I started giving the names of the plants in Sanskrit. And in my madness, I just named it as Arka Brahadrupika. One more nonsense. Why should I do that? There is Calotropis, which is Arka. Gigantea Brahadrupika. I gave the name. So I should write the name Arka Brahadrupika Hebbar or Aravinda, the name of the plant. It is just a transliteration of Greek or Latin to Sanskrit to create one more confusion. So we shall all accept now whatever that is in Latin. Okay. Once it is in Latin, let us take it as a matter of pride or a passion or a joy that we will remember those names. Hibiscus rosa sinensis. I have some students. I have my own wife to whom I have given the names of these plants as for just for enjoyment's sake. She remembers, I think, not less than 50 plants by botanical name. One of my students just went on telling the names of the plants, who has not studied botany at all in her schooling. She has not studied, but she went on spelling out the names of the plants one after another by her remembering. More than 100. There is one Kannada Pandit who is my best friend, to whom I have just shared my thoughts to him, giving names of the plants to him. He is able to remember the plants. He is a Kannada Pandit, not a botany man. He is able to remember the plants, so many, just to threaten even the botanists that they may not remember the names of the plants. But this fellow, a Kannada man, knows the names of these plants. It is to say that everybody can remember these names of these plants. There was an LIC man, an old man in Udupi, some decades back, with whom I knew him very well. He was thorough with botanical names. He never understood, he never studied botany. He never knew the significance of genus and species. He was telling the names, genus and species offhand, extempore, by just looking at the plant. I used to send my students to his house to know and verify whether my identification is correct or not. Such a very brilliant man who used to have, he was called Dwarakanath Acharya, should I remember now. He had some very big volumes of Tropica and Hortica volumes in thousands in those days, worth rupees, and he had that. One of my students, I sent to him saying that you have to learn some botanical names from him. He did not welcome my student so easily. He said, okay, having come here, sit here. He went inside. He took a pickle bottle and then brought it out and then said, if you identify what this is in this pickle, I will give you whatever that you want, he said. He was a little eccentric. My student, very humble he was. If I am right, his name is Harish Bhatt. He just took the pickle, a round pebble-like, tasted it. Xanthocarpum. Oh no. Xanthoxylum. Retsa. No. Xanthoxylum. He was mumbling. Very good. I will give this book. Take this. Dwarakanath Acharya gave that book to this small boy of second BSc degree. That means, with passion, we can remember the names of these plants very well. It is not at all a difficult ordeal. So let us all determine to say that we will remember one plant at least, and we will know that plant. So know one plant. KNOW. No one plant is non-medicinal. Every plant is medicinal. So know one plant. That's why this is serial. And if we know the local names of the plants, we will just be put to chaos. Hardaballi, if I say to Kerala, they won't know. If they say Patala, we won't know. And if I say Dasawala in America, they won't know. But if I say Hibiscus rosa sinensis, even in America or Canada or Australia or New Zealand or Russia, this name is known. That means The significance of this Latin name, standardized scientific name, is to be understood. And if you know these names, this plant could be only one in the world. Only one in the world. So Cyclea peltata, even if you go to the remotest part of the world, you will know what this plant is. And he will just, do you know this plant? He will just find out if there is a plant which is known to him, and he will discover it and tell this. So this is one aspect. Yet another very important aspect that I should tell here is the misidentification of the plant. This is often done even by us quite a good number of times. We should be extremely careful. Extremely careful. There was one case from Kasturba Medical College Hospital about a few years back, saying that they sent one plant to my house, saying that it has to be identified immediately. I said it is Acalypha indica. Okay. What is it called? It's called Kuppi Gida. Ah, yeah. It is a patient who has taken the decoction of this particular plant, and he is on the dying stage. He is vomiting, he is purging. Then how did he take that? He didn't know the real identification of the plant. His doctor told to take a particular plant, which I don't know. He took this Kuppigida, and the result was almost fatal. But of course, doctors saw that he did not die. That means misidentification or wrong identification may lead to fatality. Fatality. It is not a side effect. The plant has not given the side effect. Please be sure of this. It is every plant has some properties. If you are taking tomato, fruit, red, it is very good. But tomato, when young, white or green, it is bad. It is not good for our health. It has an alkaloid which is very much poisonous to us. Don't take the young, unripe tomatoes. Similarly, there are so many plants. There is one plant called Alstonia scolaris, Halemara, as it is called in South Canada. It's a devil's tree, as in English. Very big tree. During the Amavasya, new moon day, people here will go there during the Katak Adi Masam. During that day, people will go there and take the external bark of this, and they will just take juice from that by pounding it, and 1 spoon will be taken. That is very good vermicide, having a vermicidal properties. Instead of this, a particular person here took the bark of another plant called Sapium insigne, which is a poisonous one, and he was succumbed to death. These Ayurvedic people, they are not good. They see, there are so many bad effects and side effects. People complain. No, this is wrong. The correct identification of the plant is a must. And those who study botany would have done some work to identify the plants. There are some books only for that, meant for that. They are called, such books are called flora. There is this is a flora of South Canara district, written by Dr. K. Gopalakrishna Bhatt. Such a voluminous work, wonderful magnum opus for our place. Every plant in our place can be identified with the help of this particular flora. Of course, a normal common man, layman, cannot identify the plant with the help of this flora, because it needs to be understood certain scientific words which we teach for about an year or so to our children. And you should know how to use this flora by using certain key points, key characters. And by looking into this, you can identify the plants. Almost every place has flora. You would not know. Some botanists would have come to your place and would have done some research work and would have produced the flora. And with the help of that flora, we would be in a position to identify the plant. In 1900s, I'm telling you, my dear friends, in 1900s, British people, Bentham and Hooker, they came to India, traveled all through India, and Hooker, J.D. Hooker, published 7 volumes of Flora of India. Bentham and Hooker, another Jodi, another pair, they prepared, Gamble, J.S. Gamble, another man. He came to South India, south to Godavari, and traveled all through South India, and he prepared Flora of Madras, volume 1, 2 and 3. One of the best source books for us to identify the plants. Now we have so many different classification systems and identification processes. If you just place one leaf or flower or plant in front of your camera in mobile, the smart mobile, upon your installing some apps there, it would tell you what plant it is within no time. But that may not be correct, because it will propose some 3 or 4 names. This plant could be like this. Of course, it may come nearer to that. But unless you spot out that particular plant, you cannot have the correct name of the plant or correct identification. For that, floras are extremely essential. It is as good as mean, mode and median. Mean, mode and median in statistics. People do not know how you get mean, mode and median. If you just give some button in your computer, it itself will give you what the mean, median, mode. But once that is not known, then at one stretch of time you will be put to trouble. That means you need to know the fundamentals very properly. Those who study the correct identification of the plants and its classification, they are called taxonomists. Taxonomists or systematic botanists. They should be true to their conscience to tell the correct exact name of the plant as well as its correct position in the entire plant world. The systematic botanists or taxonomists in the world are very few. We say endangered species for the plants and animals. I would say these taxonomists have become endangered now. There are no taxonomists as we had earlier, like Gamble or Hooker or others. In our place, we have the live example, Dr. K. Gopalakrishna Bhatt, who is one of the wonderful taxonomists of our place, who has contributed large number of newer and newer species to the knowledge of botany. So we need to know the correct name and correct identification of the plants. Just as we have the family, plants also have the families. If you go to the plant and ask which family to you belong, it won't tell you. So by looking into the characters of the plant, Oh, the leaf is like this, the flower is like this, the stamen is like this, the corolla is like this, the twine is like this. Oh, then it should be like to belonging to this particular. We will conclude by looking into these characteristics that this belongs to a particular family. So this family, the plant, this plant, Cyclea peltata, Cyclea peltata belongs to the family Menispermaceae. What is Menispermaceae? Don't bother. It is just like Hebbar's family. Okay, Menispermaceae. CEAE is the ending always given to a family name in botany. Menispermaceae is the name of this plant. In English, I'm told that this has a name called Indian moon, Indian moon seed. Hadeballi, Rajapatha, Brihatpatha, or Pata, Pattai, or Patavalli, or Padavalli. It has It has an English name, Indian moon seed. I am not conversant with this English name. It may be correct or wrong, but Cyclea peltata is the correct name of the plant, which I have shown it to you. You may consult an Ayurvedic physician or a folk medicine expert from your place to know more about these plants. Namaskara.